blue.
Oh,
What a
no, it's
shame.
two blue. Two blues.
A bad end. Not only a blue hero, but a hero that we don't see particularly frequently. If nothing else, we see it usually against Lion, and TNC maybe denying Makoto his Templar. Wow, okay, they're just blazing through this.
Ooh.
Mike, take your pick. What hero would you like to talk about?
Oh man, look, I talked about the Makoto TA, but I've got to say Armel is just as, if not better, at this hero. I mean, it's Armel, right? Like, you can put him on anything and he's going to make it look good. But the TA, when Armel picks it up, it's very scary. Now, I do love it. Into the axe, into these high armor heroes, you can kind of just get rid of all that armor and burst them down. I think it's quite valuable here because you don't have a great way of burning through the refraction either this game. On the side of Boom Esports, like, you've got Battle Hunger, but that's whatever. Yeah, it seems like a nice pick here for the side of TNC, and it does seem like they're going for this kind of, I don't want to say old school, but we've seen it for so long from TNC, this kind of fast-paced push lineup where they'll go for the mid-tier one, they'll go for the top-tier one, and then they'll just take over the map. They'll just kind of choke you out, they won't let you farm, and Boom Esports, they go for the TB very confidently, right? Because I don't think TNC intends to allow them to have that jungle space for the TB to be able to farm up for the next 30 minutes. So it's a very confident TB pick here from Boom Esports. But I think TNC, they've already kind of got their game plan. They're going to just close the map on them. And Boom, we'll see if they can kind of fight back here with this draft, but it could be pretty rough.
I'm curious what TNC are going to be prioritizing as their carry. For Gabby, they've still got Morphling available in pool. They've still got Faceless Void, which they played earlier as well. And then for Boom, I'm assuming, John, that they're going to need something to answer this TA in the mid. At this point, you know FBZ is going to play offline axe, and now you just need to figure out who is going to be your best matchup against Templar Assassin.
I guess there's an option for the Mikato Kunkka. It's something he loves as well. It's just that I don't think it really suits the lineup for everything else they want to do. It is still one way to kind of tank up your axe and Terrorblade, but you're basically running 2 melee cores, technically 3 if you don't count Metamorphosis and Terrorblade. So it could be a bit rough running into the Phoenix. 3 cores kind of trying to man up and hit the egg is not ideal, especially if you want your Terrorblade to focus elsewhere. So that could be a bit awkward. I'm just really happy that Boom banned out the Arc Warden, because we've seen too much Terrorblade versus Arc Warden, and that ends up being God knows how long. So we're not going to have this.
It just comes down to who gets the ballista in the end, really. That's all it comes down to.
RNG towards those tier 5 items, but yeah, I think Boom might look at the Kunkka. It seems like something that would fit, but it's a bit awkward to run, just because 3 melee cores, well, technically 2, but Terrorblade's technically melee when Metamorphosis is off. Can be awkward in that early game.
In the days of the Animator, I would have said that this is a pretty free Razor pick. I don't know if Southeast Asia values Razor as an anti-TA hero as much as other regions did, but would be something worth considering. We'll go for another Makoto classic, Wind Ranger.
I don't know how to feel about this hero. I mean, Makoto, I've seen him play it. He does do a very, very good job. He always somehow finds the shackle angles as well, so it's always a very scary time, but it is Wind Ranger, right? Like, Slacks, he kind of means about it, but
it's not game 3.
It's not, okay, it's not game 3 yet, but he has a point. This hero, it seems better than it is, and I kind of question whether Boom can make it look as good as they need it to, and
oh boy.
Safe lane TA, off lane Brew? Let's see. Gabby's playing
safe
the
lane
DK.
DK. I don't mind this too much. We've seen some effective brews. I think that's mainly from the last time me and Mike saw it was with KP. But the Brewmaster is still highly effective. At this point, you've got really good control for that Terrorblade. Just run up at him without the BKB. Just Cyclone him up. Metamorphosis just gets wasted. You clean up everyone else. It's really disruptive on the off lane. And it gives you a lot of good single target control for the most part. But it also kind of breaks up that fight. Like, Boom want to be able to run down, catch one hero out, break them off, but I think they've got to be worried about Bach getting that counter initiation going, getting that control off, and that might mean you might want to consider, say, early BKBs here, especially for that Terrorblade. There's still that big question mark with Mikado's Wind Ranger. He's played it a lot. Mid lane matchup feels like you can kind of play tag with TA there, but you don't flash farm the same way, so you might lose that farming war, especially if you don't contest that jungle from Armel.
I like the Brewmaster. I think it has a lot of use, but I'm just wondering if TNC threw too much out of their draft out the window to like put it in, because Dispel Magic is great. You're going to be able to do a bunch of damage to all of TB's Conjure Images and just insta-give them. Cycloning the Wind Ranger would be ideal, because for the most part, I don't really know if FBZ is going to be able to create enough space or at least even hit an egg. And so in a teamfight situation, I think you just need to worry about cycloning the Wind Ranger. It's just, safe lane DK is something we don't see very often. I'll see mid plenty of times, I'll see off lane plenty of times. I don't see safe lane very often, and I definitely don't see it versus an Axe, but if anyone can make it work, I think that this will definitely be the team to make it happen. But let's see, last day of Southeast Asia qualifiers, game 1 of TNC versus Boom. Mike and John, take it away.
Thank you very much, Tsunami. It is indeed MLP johnxfire. John, we're into game 1 of the lower bracket final between TNC and Boom Esports. And, you know, John, I can't help myself. How you doing, sir?
Doing great, feeling great. Great matchup to start us off with in the lower bracket finals. As we've already talked about, Boom, this is the furthest they've gone in TI qualifiers ever, as far as I can see. And this is a big moment for them, so they're going to have to show up their A game. TNC, they're in kind of a similar spot that we've seen TI qualifiers end up. Upper finals between Fnatic TNC, someone gets knocked down, and then that guy still moves on into grand finals for a rematch. We'll see if they can continue that momentum. But it's always fun to see this specific matchup, right? Like, it's the Filipino versus Indonesian match. It's always explosive for both teams and the viewers because, you know, Southeast Asia, we get really passionate about our games, Mike.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's hard during these games, right? Because you're so tempted to watch the Twitch chat as well. It's just so entertaining when they go to war over these kind of games. But, you know, we're professionals, John. We'll concentrate on the gamers. I think it's going to be a very close one as well. Like, I know we talked about it. We kind of gave TNT the upper hand before the draft began in this series, but it could be anyone's game. These two, they've gone against each other so many times. It is a bit of a classic matchup between Boom and TNC, and of course it is underway now. Boom, they'll take 2 of their bounties. Of course, TNC will respectively take their own 2. We'll get into the laning stage, and we will start off with the bot lane, where you do see Hyde on the line. He'll be there with FBZ on this axe. Of course, against Gabby on his POS 1 DK. And Tim's, it seems, is going to be the POS 5 Mirana this game.
We've seen this lane a couple of times before, specifically DK Mirana versus Axe. And we've seen it go either way. If Hyde can do a good job of zoning the Mirana out, I think the Axe can just sit and spin without having to worry about the arrow. But if he's not able to buy that space out, you get that simple chain stun combo. The Axe doesn't feel tanky at all early on, so it's all down to just positioning it. Freebie arrow, it's good to block that range creep, so you're not feeding out the EXP. But it will take a couple of levels here for FBZ to really feel comfy. He went for level 1 Battle Hunger, no spins.
Look at the damage though, FBZ. The level 1 Battle Hunger, it's pretty stock standard, I'd say, but the damage you can pump out with this DK Mirana is kind of insane. Another arrow out, this time it will not be blocked off by either, and you get to the point where you can't always block these arrows. You do have to be a little bit cautious because the damage will rise very fast between these two. We should have a look at the other lanes as well. Of course, top lane, you've got Bok there with Boomy. Up against Dreamer, Cell, and Kezcute. John, talk to me about this lane. The Brewmaster, was it a good pick? Is it going to be impactful against this TB during this laning stage?
In lane, you can kind of play around, maybe look for the value points in Cinderbrew for now. Bok does have the Thunderclap ready to clap and Boomy. He doesn't have jump here.
No, he doesn't have Icarus time. Still level 1 and is going to end up going down. Dreamer Cell does already pick up the first blood in very nice fashion. This is kind of what I was worried about, John. Are you going to be able to do enough? Because Dreamer Cell, he knows his Terrorblade very, very well. I'd say it's one of his best heroes right now, and it's going to be scary for TNC to deal with later on if he has this good of a start.
And what you have to do in this lane for TNC is play around the Metamorphosis. Once you see it kind of expire, you know you've got about 2 minutes or so where you can just try to harass out the TB. You've got good magic damage on your Brew, but I think Dreamercel's doing a good job here. Every single time he sees Bok come close, he commits to Reflection, and Bok hurts himself more than he can hurt the TB, so it's a bit rough. This is also a very EXP-heavy lane for TNC. The Brewmaster and the Phoenix need some levels, and Boomy's just kind of giving this lane away, so the progression onto that level 3 spike for the Phoenix, it's going to take a bit longer here.
Let's have a look at that mid lane as well. The one lane we haven't talked about yet. It's going to be RML against Makoto. RML and that TA having an extremely good time. Double the CS of our Wind Ranger, which is going to be a pretty big cause of concern. As we know the TA already can kind of flash farm very quickly. But with this kind of start as well, it's going to be concerning here for Makoto. This is sort of what we kind of mentioned in the drafting phase, right? Like this Wind Ranger pick, what does it actually do? Well, for now, it's not doing so well in the lane, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a slow start. It's a bit worrying for Mikado. He's not really able to use any sort of advantage. Like, maybe you try to just power shot the creep wave, but you're never going to burn through refraction from TL, though.
Still ticking out to that battle hunger, but he's actually out regenerating the damage. And Hyde, he's showing up. Earthspike gonna land, but it's still not enough. 20 HP he'll survive on. Hyde, well, he can't believe his eyes. Like, how does this damn hero die? Gabby, he won't even need a salve, John. He'll stick around the tier 1 tower. He'll get a bit of bonus regen. He's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, it's just DK things. You know, you hit your level 4 spike, you have level 2 Dragon Blood. You can sustain through a lot more. You've also got added strength from that early Soul Ring, so hard to zone out. They are doing a good job of at least pushing Gabby away from the creep wave, but it's not like he's missing out on too much CS. So the bot lane for Boom just going a bit slower. You're still seeing the mid lane struggle here. I mean, you just can't burn through refraction, so you can never trade favorably with that TA. Maybe once you hit level 6, you can look for a Shackle focus fire play. But even then, that can be a bit risky, and I think Mikado is either going to need some support rotations, probably from Hyde, to take care of this TA early on, or start to ask the supports to set up around that jungle, plant some deep wards to prevent that flash farm.
Still unable to apply that pressure right now, Boom. Just trying to keep up in the CS department. Everything's going really swimmingly, though, for TNC. Like, that bot lane, the mid lane, you'd have to argue 2 out of 3 lanes is already won here for TNC. That off lane, sure, it didn't go so well, but when you look at Tremosaur's farm in comparison to RML and Gabby, he has fallen a little bit behind. We'll see what they get done about it, but it's another one of those things, John. With this draft from TNC, they're going to be able to take those towers very fast, and TNC will choke you out of the map. We talked about this during the panel. It's going to be extremely important for them to be able to defend these tier 1 towers, especially around that 10-minute mark.
Yeah, they can't have these objectives melt quick. It's going to shrink their jungle space on Boom's side. They need a lot of catch-up farm for all 3 cores, especially the Axe. Like, you do have the Vanguard up, but you're going to need a quick blink on top to really start running around the map here. So someone's going to have to give some space earlier on. It feels like it might end up being Mikado by nature of the Wind Ranger, just because it really just doesn't flash farm the same way the Axe and Terrorblade can. So if he doesn't find his Javelin timing, I think Mikado's going to be in a really awkward position. You can already see TNC just constantly shoving in the mid wave, even dragging a support out by the 6-minute rune to secure that regen.
He will get it, Tims. Not that he really needed it anyway. SQ does cancel it off straight away, but just being able to deny it away from Makoto, going to feel quite nice. Because RML, he doesn't even have a bottle, so he doesn't really give a crap about the runes at all. Unless it's something like a DD or a haste rune. Definitely no need for a regen as playing a bit of a scuttle. They'll be fine. Meanwhile, bottom lane, Gabby, he's forced to pop the dragon form. It's not too big of a deal. It was just a bit of a dive from FBZ. Doesn't really amount to much. Gabby, he'll just farm with this anyway. Like, he's not going to try and apply any kind of tower pressure yet. It's all about the farm game for him. He's doing a great job of it.
Yeah, he's just pretty much in a solo lane. Perfect farm coming out for DK, which will lead to quick item timings, perhaps quick power treads, maybe looking for that fast blink as well to take a more active role on DK. The slower pace of game, it feels like it's actually favoring TNC a lot more. You look at those triangle stacks here from TNC, man, like a whole bunch of stacks just for our melt to clear up later on. There is a ward from Boom to watch it, but they're really not in a position to contest any of that. They're already playing the jungle with Dreamocell very early on because the top lane's just being shoved in. Bok has level 6. Primal Split Threat is ready to go. The push for TNC up top isn't the quickest. especially without Gabby around, but it's still happening, and that's more progress than Boom is having.
The question is, can they kind of infiltrate that Radiant Triangle? In fact, hold that thought, because mid lane, Armel, he's thinking about going for a dive in on Kescute. Almost gets him. Arrow, it's going to be taken by the Lion. They might find another, and they will hide. He's gone, but Makoto, he's going to try and fight this one out, but he definitely can't do it. Even with the focus fire, he needs to get the hell out of there, as Armel will chase him down and find himself a double kill. Boom Esports, a bit of a misplay there. They didn't really know where they were going with that. Miscoordination for sure. And you would have almost rather seen the Abaddon die over the Lion. You need to find that blink timing on Hyde. It's going to delay things a little bit, and to make matters worse, John, Makoto ends up dropping.
Yeah, he tried to play greedy. He tried to line up for a shackle, did not connect. And I love what TNC is doing. I didn't notice this earlier, but Boomy, in that fight, he was still level 2 at 7 minutes in. He just hits level 3. He's been very sacrificial on this Phoenix, enabling everyone else to get a lot more space. Even Tims is at 5. So he's taking that hard, almost past 6 roll on Phoenix, just stacking the triangle. They managed to clear out the large camp. They've got the Ancients coming through for Armel with a double damage. They take the top tier 1. This early game's going very smoothly for TNC, and if Boom don't find a way to hit some item spikes, get some blinks up, maybe on FBZ, they're not going to have the answer.
Kescute's in trouble top lane. They get the primal split off, and this should be a nice easy pick off. In fact, Kescute, his courier's in trouble as well. They'll ignore that for now. He'll burn alive very slowly as Bok. He's gonna leave the courier. He'll show some mercy. Go back, just make sure he does not get caught out of position. But it's the 3rd kill already for TNC. I suppose that is one of the nicer things about the Brewmaster this early on, is you can just kind of go for solo kills. There's not much in the way of stopping him.
Yeah, they just aren't together enough from Boom to punish that Brewmaster. Like, the top lane's just not a place they want to play necessarily. They've got deep wards from TNC's end. You can just kind of commit the Brew. He's super tanky. You don't have burst yet. Even Finger's not quite up on Hyde. So you can't really counterplay it. And TNC's just working this map to perfection. They're getting flash farm on Armel super quick. He's rushing the Desolator. No Dragonlance, it looks like, this time around. So he's just going straight up burst, not going for durability, stats, and range. And this could actually help them accelerate that game. Like, the Dragonlance would help them sustain a little bit longer and save Armel. But with this kind of timing on the Desolator, we're looking at maybe 11 minutes, maybe even less, 10:30. He's going to be able to melt literally every single here. Even the TB is going to feel a bit squishy. The Axe is probably the slowest one to kill, only if he gets his taunt off.
I like that Desolator choice, though. Like, you kind of pointed it out, but having this much early kind of timing with that Deso, when you've got a DK on top, just get rid of that mid-tier 1 tower, and boom, they're going to suffer. That's exactly what TNC are trying to do. They've already grouped around the mid lane, forcing those rotations in. They'll back off for now and go back into that triangle. Armel, he's got the Deso up. 10.5 minutes into this game. That is a fast Deso. This is very, very problematic. This is a huge problem now for Boom. I think Armel will see him go into the mid lane very soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if Gabby joins him.
They can just look to melt towers right now if they want to. Armel's starting to queue up the Dragonlance, so he just kind of reverses the order, figuring that he's AFK jungling more and the Desolator's more efficient there. You can see Boom kind of clump up. They are smoked up. They've got Finger.
Nice call. They got the big one. They got the TA, but can they burst him down in time? Armel, Finger out. He's still alive, but no, the dunk. FBZ gets the job done. Tims, he'll try to leap away his Bok. He's trying to find a decent team fight for his team, and Gabby, he's in, but what did he just stun? It was the Euphonic Shield that purges it off, and now the call's in. FBZ, he's after the edge. He wants to try and burst it down in time, and they get it. They beat the team fight. TNC, they need to retreat right now as Boom. They are angry and they want more. What can they find? Gabby, he's a great target, and there's your blink in FBZ. Catches him out again, and Dreamer Soul, he'll get to work. An absolute disaster for TNC Predators. Boom. They refuse to let that mid-tier 1 tower drop. They're back to farming. They're not going to try and push. That's not their objective right now. As long as that mid-tier 1 stands, they are happy.
That was just beautifully timed from Boom. Immediately, once they had that blink in FBZ, they looked for that kill opportunity, and that's all they really needed. They needed some setup, they needed a way to initiate these fights. FBZ just getting all the big calls he needs. You can see TNC, they're still trying to push in, but you have to remember, it is risky. You don't have Egg anymore, you don't have Primal Split. The fight around that tier 1 could be a bit tougher if you force the issue.
Still huddling around that mid lane, but it's gotten so much more dangerous now. You've even got the Maelstrom up on Makoto, so he's got some damage to pop out with that focus fire. Certainly not as easy as it was just about a minute ago to try and go for this mid tier 1, but there is going to be a smoke up. TNC gonna wrap around through the Hyde jungle, but Makoto, he breaks the smoke off and Hyde's gonna rotate. There's your focus fire around Gabby. He is a tanky target, but it may not matter as a Shackles comes out. Makoto, he found 2 already, but they won't be able to capitalize as Bok now. He'll move forward. No primal split necessary as the Icarus dive in, but Hyde, he'll be protected by Kezcute and the Aphotic Shield. Easy, look at him, John. He's waiting for that reinitiation. He's been very good thus far with the blink calls. We'll leave them be for now. TNC ever so desperate to try and get that mid-tier 1 tower, but Boom, they're not budging.
I like the committal from Boom. They understand that they need this tower as much as TNC needs theirs. TNC will recommit though. They've got the Dragon form up on Gabby. This tower is not going to hold as long, and I think that's the point where Boom, they're probably not going to be keen to jump in. They see the full commitment from TNC. They have to surrender the objective. They're getting what they can in their jungle while they can, and they should be able to get some good D-wards. But look at TNC. They have a million sentries around the area, and they're just going to be able to spot out those defensive wards as they come down. So they're already preempting the vision game that Boom will probably want to bring out, and it can make it a bit tougher for Boom to keep that control steady. They're going to try to look for that bot tier 1 just to open up that bot jungle a bit more. They're dragging the heroes in.
Easy. Lane Tim's going to hide in the tree line. They know it's a TB illusion, I believe, so they'll leave that be. In fact, it's their own TB illusion as Tim's still hiding. They're trying to scout it out. Tim's making it very, very hard to catch him out, and he'll even pop the Moonlight Shadow to try and sneak his way out of this scenario. Oh, he's going to reveal himself, FBZ. He's still waiting. Patience of a monk here on this axe. How much longer do you want to wait? Tim's again, arrow out. We'll get a bit of vision on Dream Missile. Getting in FBZ from the left side now. Gonna come through that tree line. Tim's call, not gonna be on target. He leaps away. He's got 2 more leap charges. He should be alright as now. They stand next to each other. Look at Tim's. He's farming the creeps. He knows there's no call. He gets an arrow out. He's wasted a lot of time in the spot lane while the Roshan's happening on the other side of the map. It was all a bit of a bait here from TNC as the distraction play may have worked out. Roshan very, very low. Power shot going to get the vision. FBZ, he needs to get in there quick, but the blink, it's been cancelled. He'll get in now. Calls there. Armel, he's got the Aegis. He does snatch it away from the side of Boom Esports, and now they'll go for the fight onto the axe. FBZ's going to try and run. Can he get away from Bok on this primal split? He cannot. He will drop. They even found another. Hello, Kezcute. Right back down to earth, and TNC, they will burst him down. That was a very close call. Armel just out-clicking Boom Esports, and now might just find Hyde. He won't go for the chase on the line. He'll leave him be. It's a slight net worth lead now to TNC, but with that Aegis up, John, they can certainly apply a bit more pressure.
And he can look to commit further with Armel. He can look to just throw his first life off if he wants to. Ideally, you'd want the BKB to kind of maximize that, though. But that's going to take a little bit more time to farm. For Boom's part, I mean, that's a great call from FBZ. He needs the follow-up. Like, you can't just go in with the axe. I think he's going to need Lion backup, and this is where Boom's lineup kind of falters. Their team fight is just not as good. They don't have anything like the Egg. They don't have anything as disruptive as the Brewmaster as well, so it's trickier for them to force these 5v5s in a tight spot.
Grouping arrow, that could be a great arrow. Tim's! He never misses this guy. As they dive in now, the sun rays out. Makoto, he's trapped in the tree line, but he has help coming in. FBZ, he's there with the call. Shackles out. It'll latch onto a tree and they'll finger burst him down. The arrow, it was great, but it doesn't end up paying off. Boom Esports, they turn right back around and start chasing them down as Hyde. He'll blink forward. Earth Spike, not going to be thrown yet, but FBZ, he'll get the vision for a great stun out now. Hyde locks him down. Ball is there. Lock, he doesn't have Primal Split. It's going to be hard to get out of this. He'll try to go for a run, but another nice shackles Makoto off the creep wave. Gabby trying to help Bok. He will survive. The Sunray was enough sustain, and Boom Esports, they're going to have to back off. Just wait another day for that opportunity. It's so tight between these two teams, though. Still just a 1k net worth lead. Just feels like heroes are dropping so low, but they get away all the time. And Bok, he's going to be counting his blessings, John. He's only 900 gold away now from that Aghanim Scepter on the Brewmaster. So you'd rather not die if you can avoid it.
And that's going to be a big spike for Bok. We've seen that back-to-back Primal Split be a massive issue for a lot of teams that have had to play against a Brewer. Now, this is not going to line up with his level 20 talent, which is where it really gets obnoxious with a plus 1,400 Brewing HP. That's way down the line, but this is still enough to save his life twice over. So Boom's going to have to be a lot more cautious about committing onto something like the Brew. They've got to be maybe prioritizing the Brew to die first just to prevent all of that control from coming true in a very prolonged fight. For Boom's part, they're still building up. Like, we're still seeing decent farm coming in from Dreamer, so it's time for the BKBs to fly in an FBZ.
FBZ, Arrow gonna be on target. Tim's at it again. They found a very nice target for themselves. FBZ, he can do nothing about it. Now Gabby blinking very far forward. Makoto's gonna TP in. Gabby, he got the vision, but he doesn't have the blink to initiate. Let him go for a bit. Reveal himself now. But what they really came for is that G2 top tower. Look at those side blades from Armel. My goodness. What kind of range is that?
Oh god, it's a Grove Bow with the Dragon Lance. So it's all the added range with the side blade talent range. Very painful and very balanced. That top tier 2 is not going to hold for long, and Boom has no options to fight in without the axe. So the top jungle now completely open here for TNC. They take the outpost, they deny some XP per minute away from Boom. And for Boom's part, they really need to hit these item spikes. Like FBZ, he's going for the classic Manta Ag Shard that we almost always see nowadays. Still a ways off from the Manta and further away even from the Shard. So that big spike for the Axe to keep deep pushing waves, not quite there yet. BKB to protect the TV is almost there.
Oh, Arrow, he was on target. He was on target. Hyde, he's going to try and go for a run. I don't think he quite makes it out of this one. Tims will chase him down. Ern's still taking him out. Hyde. Oh, did he really just get out the Sun Ray now? No, blinks to the south. But Gabby, the breathe fire off target, but it won't matter. It won't matter. Oh, very close call there for Hyde. They even get his courier. Make sure there is nothing left of this man. Get him down.
That was nail-bitingly close for them to miss that kill. I think the TP was just only a few milliseconds off, so they find it. That's time for Boom to get away, but they do drop their bot tier 1 down to just 2 outer towers here from Boom. Mid tier 2, bot tier 2 left. They can kind of control the jungle here from TNC's end. They could try to plant some more, they just don't have any available at the moment. So it's not quite the control they'd want, but they do plant in the end from Boomy. The thing for Boom right now is that they're losing their own map. There are still stacks coming out on TNC. Box getting great space to accelerate even further past just the Ags, working towards that Aeon Disc next. And once you've got that Ags Aeon Disc combo, you literally cannot kill the Brewmaster. Like, you just can't. He gets immediately broken in the combo breaker, then he just pops his ult. He will always have an ult charge. There's no situation where you don't have that, so it's going to be a massive, massive spike here for Bok once he's allowed to farm that up, and Boom has just not done enough to really shut that map down. We talked about it from the draft, from laning. What they had to do was really take control of that jungle, prevent the stacks, but they were never given the opportunity to do so, and they're just so much slower here on Boom's side. You're keeping up a bit with Dreamocell. FBZ is taking the backseat, and so is Mikado, so your two big cores just aren't quite at the point where they're as farmed as even Gabby. They will look for a smoke play here, though.
Is the only one showing at the moment. In fact, his team is right around the corner in case he needs it. Anything that was scouted out, but FBZ, he's gonna break the smoke, a nice call in. He does blink straight on top of Armel, a great target, but they can't get in time to time. Surely they finger him up, but it's not gonna be enough. In fact, he turns around for a mill strike. He'll get FBZ, and now Makoto, he's gonna try and run, but I don't think there's any running at the side blades. Keep bouncing the melt strike. It's gonna reach for Makoto. He had the wind run. They'll turn back around. Armel now in trouble. They'll burst him down, and here comes Dreamer Cell getting to work. They'll turn onto Hyde. The Lion eventually die. Reinitiation. Gabby with the arrow out from Tims. They've got the Terror Blade, the shackles. It won't land. Dreamer Cell, he has the Sunder though. He wants to turn around. There's your Sunray out with the arrow again. Dreamer Cell, he just can't move. And now Makoto, he needs to run, but he cannot run. Not from TNC Predator as they go for the mid-tier 2 tower now. That was a full team wipe, by the way. Kescute, he bought back at the end, but it was just way too late.
Oh man, it's the execution from Boom's falling a bit flat. They tried to commit on the TA, but the heals coming out from Boomy on that Sunray on the Phoenix, it's way too much, and we've seen that over multiple fights. It heals way too strong. It rips right through your high HP heroes because of the percent damage as well. And Boom do not have an easy way of reaching that backline outside of, I guess, Hyde to blink in, look for a Hex, look for an Earth Spike, but that's way, way deep back from TNC. Like, Boomy's positioning has been so on point to save his teammates every single time. And Boom has to make a choice now when starting these fights. Jumping the TA has not paid off when the rest of the team is there. The Brewmaster is highly disruptive, but you also have the heals to worry about from Boomy. I think they have to catch that Phoenix first. Like, you might run the risk of just getting controlled up by the Primal Split, but you can't afford to give that sustained weight to TNC.
Dire are scanning.
FBZ, at least he has the Manta up now, so you've got plenty of creep wave push with these Axe Illusions and, of course, the DPS output. On the other spectrum, though, Gabby's got the full Aghanim Scepter. So Black Dragon is online now for TNC. Or rather, no, he is. The Black Dragon is there. He is level 18. That's going to be a very scary scenario now for Boom. We've seen they don't really have enough to deal with the side of TNC yet, and these items up, it just becomes that much harder. It's even Armel, he's working towards the MKB. That's going to make Makoto's life a hell of a lot harder to boot, right? Because he's kind of relying on that wind run to be able to survive the TA damage, but once that MKB's out, suddenly you're not really evading those hits anymore, and he's going to have to be a lot more careful about his positioning.
Yeah, it's going to be super tough for Boom. They're not going to feel all too tanky going to that next fight. And TNC, well, there's a Roshan they could take, but they look to take a pick off first to clear that up. That's easy.
Easy, stunned out. Gabby's got him. Melt strike there. Arrow again connecting on target. See you later, FBZ. Kescute also being called out by Tims and Kescute. He's got the borrowed time at the very least. He might be able to buy a bit of time, but not for long. They stun him up. They'll take him down. And that should be a very free Roshan for TNC. As Boom Esports, they don't have the buybacks to contest this.
They have no way of accessing that pit. TNC still have access to the egg. They've got another charge of that Primal Split. It's not a very smooth fight for Boom, especially considering what they have on hand. They can't. So this is going to be second Roche, Aegis Cheese, Ag Shard. That is big. I wonder who they hand that shard to. I'd say just give it to Armel. Psionic Trap Silence is just going to really break the back of Boom here. They do have a couple of BKBs up, but yeah, it's going to be painful. You know?
Of course there's a DD rune right after Roshan.
Of course.
Here's an Aegis, here's a Shards, here's a DD rune just in case you needed an Armel, and down to the bot lane they go. They'll defend that up for now. This classic Armel's gotten everything he can ask for thus far. There's literally nothing else the game could have given him.
Yeah, I think the way it goes perfectly next is Roche number 3 will have a free Ag's Blessing, and then you're really sad. You know, that's absolutely the perfect game for Armel, getting everything from Ice Frog himself. He'd be all over the map. He'd have a global, sort of like global silence almost, to take control. And Boomer finding themselves lagging behind. They have not been blessed here, Mike. 14-6, 10k lead for TNC. They're lagging behind in farm. Their jungle shrinking. They didn't manage to get that early aggression on the opposing jungle. Their own jungle is being invaded by the side of TNC. it's that farm share issue. Like, how do you get an Axe who still doesn't have Shard enough space to share farm with a TB, to share farm with a Wind Ranger who desperately needs farm but can't really flash farm herself? So these cores are just kind of starved for where they want to be at this point in the game, and TNC just abuse that. They can just dig into these objectives. They're not going to last all too long here.
T2 tower definitely not going to last very long. That double damage rune up on Armel. Be very, very short work as he's right-clicking for about 500 damage at the moment on the TA. Very, very good. Into the tier 2 mid tower. Gabby will take care of that. No help necessary. Boom Esports just trying to play the avoid game, but now a smoke out. Gabby, he's going to fly over the cliff into Dreamer Cell, but he will barely miss out on the vision. Moonlight Shadow up though. Dreamer Cell. He's going to hide in the tree line. He scout him out. Tims, do you want to go for a blind arrow? No, not quite. Dreamer Cell's just fine. FPZ, not so much yet, but he's quite deep in the tree line and he will eventually TP out, so TNC will run into Makoto instead. Makoto. Stun is on a creep of all things, Gabby. He'll take both of them. It's an enchanted quiver. Right, I mean, why not give that to Armel? There you go, Armel. Did you need more damage, Armel? Here's an enchanted quiver, sir.
Yeah, you gotta love it. Use that with your meld, right? You time its cooldown, just meld. You suddenly have plus 400 range in your hit and bonus damage as well. On top of the meld bonus, it's balanced. Very nice. Thank you, Ice Frog.
Thank you very much. Hyde, he's been pinged out. Gabby, he's by himself. He won't make the jump in. They'll just keep controlling the triangle. I mean, this is exactly what we talked about during the panel. Choke out the side of Boom, and there you go. FBZ, he shows up for a second. Gabby jumps in with the stun. FBZ just burning to the sun ray. They'll try to help him out. Manta is used as well. He's still trying to run. Kescube, he can't save him. FBZ's going to drop. Kescube's going to try and run, but there's your Cyclone out from Bok. He's gone. Armel, another double kill. And he gets his MKB up as well. Very nice.
Perfect. And they're just playing perfectly here on TNC. They can invade every single spot. They've got great vision in that triangle area, not safe to be in. For Boom's part, they at least have the Scadia on Dreamer Cell, so some of that healing game can be stopped, but they need to go back for their high ground. This is not going to last by itself, and TNC, they're focused. They want to go for the objective games. They want to push their advantage. They do not want to drag this game all too long. They know how terrible it can be late game, so they just want to get as much as they can.
That tier 3 tower really is not going to last very long. Boom, they've got to do something about this. They're going to try. They'll bring Dreamer Cell in. Got the meta up. He can definitely go for a fight, but it looks very, very scary as Arnold has that secondary life. They jump in. FBZ, he's on the Tims on that Marana. Tims, he will use himself up. He's not going to die yet. He'll leap away, but no, the dunk is there in time. Still Gabby now with the stun, Sunray, Egg, everything been thrown out. FBZ, he cannot run up the high ground like that. He does end up going down, and now the disarms out. They will make sure Dreamer Cell cannot fight back, but Armel, he's dropping. He loses the Aegis. They find him another time. Gonna pop his BKB, Meld Strike, blink out of there. Will defend the mid-racks, they only lose the tier 3 tower and FBZ. Really, it's not too bad of a defense here for Boom Esports.
Yep, they hold on. I think that could have gone a lot worse. They find a couple of kills. At least they denied the Aegis away from Armel. That was pretty well timed from TNC as well, though. I think they only had about 40 seconds in the Aegis, so pretty on point for choosing that time to fight right before it's supposed to expire. They will go into the next fight with a couple of upgrades, though. They've got the Ags up on Boomy, so he can go for saving plays, which we have worked against Phoenix in very tense situations where maybe dragging your ally in Egg is not the ideal situation, but it will take more hits to break the Egg off, so Boomy can be a larger distraction in the front now. And that, again, just there's so much for Boom to have to focus on. They need these good calls to come in. They need to isolate out the Phoenix somehow. They need to take out the Brewmaster before the second split can come true. And TNC, well, they don't have Egg, but they can just look to go high ground again.
Why the hell not? Arrow. Start out. Rats again, not going to last long. They don't have meta up. Really be able to fight. Love that Spirit Vessel there from Pims as well. Just make sure FBZ cannot dive in, and there you go. They deny the racks off. The TNC won't care about that. They're 13k ahead. And there's a double damage rune at the bot rune spot.
Perfect.
Amazing.
They need it. They're going to need it for that second push. TNC lining up still around that triangle area. And they could just keep that wave shoved in, wait for their own creep wave to catch up. Look to take another set of racks. Next Roche, still a minute and a half till we find out when that respawn is. So they can't quite go for that safe objective. First, Boom, they're using this time to farm as much as they can. FBZ trying to save up for a BKB. Mikato for an MKB, and already having his own BKB along with the travels. And Dreamcell actually changes his mind. He finished up the Scotty. He was queuing Butterfly earlier. He's going for the Ags. He understands that he's probably going to need that Terror Wave to come through just to have a option to still join these fights even while Metamorphosis is down, or situations where he doesn't want to fully commit that meta. He's going to have some choices, and he does have a gold. It's just going to leave him without buyback, so he's going to have to weigh his options there. Consider whether or not they're going to join a risky fight soon, or he can afford to just buy out, and he chooses to buy out. So having that second option is great, but he has to be very cautious about where he is on the map.
That is a ballsy play from Dreamcell, because they have that DD rune and they're smoked up right now, TNC. Mind you, Gabby's got it in the bottle at the moment, so it's not on Armel. It's still a very scary scenario as he does pop it and they want to go for a fight. TNC gonna run right into Kezcute. Do they want to start with the Abaddon? Gabby, he will go for the stun. They're gonna stun him up, get the borrowed timeout, and almost burst him down. There's the Yule Scepter, and Kezcute, he should be gone as the rest of Boom. They will just BKB TP out immediately. On the brighter side for Boom, they only lose their Pulse 5 Abaddon. Not too big of a deal. He does have buyback. He's going to try and farm up that buyback gold ASAP.
He's going to need it. He's 1.5k short, so he's going to need to clear a hell lot of waves. The side of TNC, Roshan 2.5 minutes. So not quite the quick respawn. They're going to have to hold on if they want that safety net before jumping up, but Gabby?
Confident Gabby is. He just flying around. I'm just a dragon, just chilling. Traps out, they're slow.
Oh my
Gabby's
God.
jumping in. He's by himself though. Focus fire out, but he has a haste rune. It'll wear off, but it won't matter. Arrow.
Jeez.
It'll be alright. They won't get hit by the arrow.
Oh,
Well, this is what happens when you control the map, John.
Oh yeah. You can do whatever you want. Like Gabby. He doesn't care. He runs in blind, no vision. He's got a haste. He's in dragon form. He can just phase through terrain and patting and doesn't care. Yeah, it's kind of scary seeing that such a big dragon go up. Imagine if he had Giant's Ring. That's just a scary side. I hasted Giant's Ring Dragon Knight. That is terrifying. I'd love to see it. I don't know if the game is going to last that long though.
And considering how lucky they've been getting with the items and runes, I'd almost guarantee the Giant's Ring is going to come out. Plus, I mean, Gabby, he's not even playing Dota 2 right now, John. He's playing Skyrim. This isn't the same game. He's just flying around as a dragon, having a great old time, ruining someone's day. That someone is going to be Boom Esports, at least for now, but they are getting the farm up. The Dream Assault, MKB up next, even has a Hurricane Pike queued up. I like the fact that he goes for that kind of defensive itemization. Smoked up now, Boom, towards the top lane. They found Boomy, a nice Hex Initiation hide, throws the finger out, and with the illusion, it will be enough. While that was happening, Bot goes ahead and just sneaks the outpost. They don't really mind the Phoenix dying too much, but well, Boomy is gone for 60 seconds. You might want to try and force a fight, or even a Roshan, and there you go, they jump in. The big call out, Tim is speed up as well with the Terror Wave. Get another as Gabby, he needs to run. FBZ doesn't have the blink up. If they check Roshan, it's going to be up in 10 seconds. They might have enough time to finish it off if they want to commit the meta. But Boom Esports, they have backed. It looks like they won't scout it in time.
It's pretty scary to still take fights in that pit. There's the egg that can come true. There's this prime and split that can show up from Bach. They know it's going to be a really uphill battle in such an enclosed space, especially since they already committed the Terror Wave, which is basically their big AoE control outside of Call now. on the side of Boom, so have to be a lot more cautious. They do have good wards watching the pit area, so they can tell when it is going to happen from TNC, but TNC always has the trap vision advantage, just knowing when exactly the Roche is up, so they can choose when to force that fight. They are looking for their tier 4 items right now, Minotaur Horn being pretty darn good here for Boom, giving them at least some spell immunity for FBZ, additional spell immunity as he has his BKB up. But that does give him more angles to jump in and call without worrying about being just immediately controlled up. They kind of need to play with that. The moments we've been seeing Boom win is when they find these stragglers out from TNC, and if they can keep catching these isolated heroes playing a bit too confidently, they can start to chip away at this 11k lead TNC's built up.
Wind Waker now up on Tim's. A real big item there on the Mirana. We've been seeing this a lot. To see it. Roshan also has that Aghanim's Blessing, by the way. Jump. There you go. Just as intended.
Called it. Would be perfect for Armel. Imagine that. The ninja coming out, hey? As we talked about in draft. Would be beautiful.
I don't know why you asked me to imagine it, John. I mean, everything's just happening. It's reality right now. As FBZ hiding in the tree line, he doesn't see anyone, but Fox sees him, and they jump in now. Minotaur Horn gonna save the day, but Gabby, he's not done yet. He'll go after Kescute on the Abaddon first. They'll just try to burst him down. As Boom Esports, they're thinking about reinitiating here. They might have to take the team fight. Terror Wave committed. Kescute, he's gonna survive, but Gabby's looking for a way back in. They still want that Abaddon. They might just be able to get him, and they do. Gabby, he's got him now. King of the hill, he's just on top of the cliff. He wants to fight from this cliff as FBZ. He gets a good call off, but is it going to be good enough? The Aeon Disc is there, Fox. He's surviving. Dreamersaur now needs the back as Armel has joined the fray in FBZ. He's dropping so darn quick, and will probably go down as the rest of Boom just need to run. But Tim's, he's on the chase. He wants another target. They found Dreamersaur. He'll try to hide the tree line. He needs some help. He'll go for the TP, but he's been stunned up. He's got the arrow there on the Mirana. They've cycloned him up as well, bring him back down to earth. It might be time for that Roshan we talked about, John.
Oh, it's open. They take out the two big sources of teamfight spells in the Call and the Terrorize. No buybacks on those two heroes. Roche is not going to last long, and Armel can finally live out his dreams of cosplaying as a ninja.
Armel definitely taking the Aghanim Scepter for himself. His ninja way after all. And Roshan gonna be left to him, he'll take care of it. Meanwhile, the rest of TNC looking for another team fight. They are nearby Makoto on that Wind Ranger. He's trying to run back towards the base. Wind Run there, they might be able to cut him off in time. Gabby, he's gonna scout him out, but no, the BKB. Quick reactions as Gabby couldn't get the stun off, and here comes Armel right to work on the Abaddon. He's going to be able to just force staff back and survive, but they're onto the tier 3 tower now. A nice shackle angle, but it won't matter because Armel, he's still more than free to hit. Don't have Dreamersaur to fight with either. They need to buy 10 seconds for the Terror Blade. That bottom racks, it's just not going to last. They're gonna let it go. They cannot fight without Dreamersaur. There's just no chance in hell. There's gonna be one Rax left for Boom Esports in this game 1 of the lower bracket final.
I don't think TNC is gonna wait around. They have literally nothing to wait for. Maybe Dragon Form fades, but it doesn't feel like a big issue. It's down to Boom to find these angles, to try to get the initiation you need. They do have Terror Wave up, but no full meta for a few more. You're gonna have to think twice about this angle here.
Oh, that Cyclone again, just catching out FBZ, making it so they can't initiate. They're gonna back off for now, though. They've left Bok behind. It could be a fake back, though. Bok, he's still alive. There's your Terror Wave out, but he'll be fine. You have a Remnant out, outside the base. Everyone from TNC does survive. They're not gonna overextend. They'll leave the top racks. They'll come back another time. With a 28k net worth advantage, I don't think there needs to be any rush for TNC. I think they're fine. In fact, they have some tier 4 items to find, John. Get those up first.
Yeah, they haven't quite finished. You do find the Timeless Relic Glass, which they've left behind for now. Interesting choice to keep it under the tree. Right there. They actually just left it. Come on, pick it up, boys. There you go. Boom, he picks it up.
Always
nice.
the +5, John. Always the +5, John. Just to pick up the garbage
look
your
at
cores are
Boom.
leaving behind. A big smoke up from Boom, but they have really no way of getting into the triangle. They need the perfect initiation. If they're gonna win a team fight, it can't just be a half initiation. It needs to be perfect. They're too far behind. Icarus dive in, Boomy already far forward. FBZ, Makoto gonna get the shackles out, go for the focus fight, trying to burst him down. They do get him. The finger is there. A decent start. Makoto, though, still being chased. He will barely survive with his life intact, but I can't say the same for Hyde. Them on the deck. Buybacks out. Kescute is gone. TNC onto the top racks. No creeps necessary. Now, Dreamer's Zoe trying to sneak from the backside. Terrorwave's gonna at least buy him some time to get out of that awkward scenario. They are still respecting the Terrorblade. How long? He has the meta up. It was just the Terrorwave he used. They can fight back and defend. No rush for TNC. It's again, huge net worth lead. They don't want to throw this game away. It only takes one bad team fight for Boom to turn this around. And you know Boom, they're waiting for that mistake to happen.
Yeah, I think this is fair play from TNC. I think they need the egg. They understand that the percent-based damage the Sunray's been pumping out onto the Terrorblade, onto the Axe, has been really impactful, not to mention the healing as well for TNC's side. So they don't really want to fully commit just yet. An interesting choice from Bach to get the refresh. It doesn't feel like he's ever out of Primal Split anyway, but I guess he's got some backup in case things go south. Let's say he dies and his Primal Split. Yeah, could be as well, right? Like, the fact that it refreshes that still boggles my mind, but I suppose you've got that safety dent now as well. We saw some nice plays from Boom, though. They had a nullifier to take off that Aeon Disc a while ago on the Phoenix. So I think you have to watch for that back and forth there. But yeah, just more conditions here for TNC to be playing safe towards this last set of racks. Boom, they've had enough time to get Terror Wave back up, to have Metamorphosis up and ready. They can look to try and go back in. They've got Finger back up for Burst as well. TNC
does sport the MKB on Dreamer's Soul. He doesn't have buyback card on a big jump in. Gabby! He found two of them! Dreamer's Soul needs to run ASAP. He does barely make it out. Hyde, he won't be so lucky though. That'll be a tieback for the Lion. They found Makoto. Aquatic Shield gonna save the days. The Eon just does proc onto Fumi, but they got the Megas and now Gabby. He's in. He's got the Wind Ranger. Makoto's gone. Proc, he'll pop the Primal Spring. Do they want to go for a Fountain Dive? They maze FBZ. It's a big call out, but Dreamer's Soul, he's backed off. The GG's been called. They've had enough. The TNC. You can't sugarcoat it, John. That was a very dominant performance from the Filipinos. Boom Esports, they're going to need to go back to the drawing board with this draft and try to come up with something to try and contest this and force it to a game 3.
Yeah, that looked rough. Boom, they didn't quite play early the way we expected. TNC just looks fantastic today, and that could be down to the difference of playing a game at 11 p.m. and playing a game at 1 a.m. So we'll have to see if Boom can shake that feeling off and rise up, because TNC looks like they're full of energy today, Mike.
That they are, John. Of course, we are going to head to a very short break, and right after that break, we'll be back with the panel to discuss what really happened in this game number 1.